Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Tuesday. It's 11:17 p.m. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I had to work really late, so I just rolled in the door, but I wanted to make sure I got my Tuesday night live stream out of the way because everybody seems to like them. So here I am, even though it's stupidly late at night. Like I said, just rolled in the door, so I figured gotta show some books. Don't want to fall behind, otherwise we'll be doing 2 hour live streams just trying to show books. So obviously I'm not expecting too many people to be a part of this tonight. So figured why not for those watching on the rewind, just show some books that I picked up last week. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to read everything because I've literally worked every day since my last live stream. So, and I haven't had a chance to bag and board them yet. So, I do have one person in the chat. What's going on, Brian Spaceboy227? Glad you could make it, man. I wasn't expecting a single person to be here at all. So awesome of you to make it, Brian. Glad that's awesome. So I guess usual my pick of the week. This is on top. Farmhand number 5. Who doesn't love him some Farmhand? But the soul crushing truth about this one is this is the last Farmhand until friggin' March 2019. So I guess when you're writing and you're doing the art on a book, it takes a lot of time. So kudos to Rob Gilroy for being able to churn out 5 issues of a comic, once a month. So I know that's something I definitely couldn't do with the quality of art. And it's just a nice quality book in general. So absolutely been loving Farmhand. There's definitely something going on in the world of Farmhand where everyone's kind of being infected by the main farm in the story. So everyone's kind of slowly turning green and weird and having flowers bloom out of their eye sockets. So love me some Farmhand. It's been absolutely awesome so far. First trade will probably be out around Christmas time, I'm assuming. So if you guys are not on the Farmhand train, good time to hop on right now. So it's one of my favorite books on the shelves. Next up, you guys know me. I like me some Green Lanterns. I haven't had a chance to get my opinion on the new Green Lantern out there yet. I actually really enjoyed this book. I know a lot of people were, kind of dogging the art and that type of stuff. I thought the art was fine. I was kind of expecting that, Liam Sharp ultra detailed art in this. So I had no problem with that. You had Hal Jordan having sex in the desert in the middle of midnight, so I thought that was really funny. A little bit of off-kilter Grant Morrison there, but I feel like I was kind of saying this in our Comic Core chat. Which, by the way, what's going on, chat from Comic Core? Glad you could make it. Hashtag Dare to Defy. I guess that's my new catchphrase. Thank you, Legend. I appreciate that. But anyway, back to Green Lantern. I think this book, these like Grant Morrison's gonna have a lot of freedom to do whatever he wants with the Green Lantern property. I'm actually pretty excited about that. I feel like in this, there really hasn't been a huge change up in the universe of Green Lantern since Jeff Johns came along, did the rebirth and introduced, the Blackest Night and the color spectrum and all that type of stuff. So I think Grant Morrison's the guy to follow up someone like Johns in terms of keeping the title fresh, because I didn't read too much of the Venditti run, but I didn't hear too many good things, and the issues I did kind of pick up and read didn't really do much for me. I did enjoy. Chad turned me on to the Dan Jurgens run at the very end of the last run from Rebirth, and actually it wasn't too bad. I always like me some Dan Jurgens, but maybe too little, too late from that title. I wouldn't have minded seeing a Green Lantern number with Dan Jurgens' name on it, so I definitely would have bought that. But nonetheless, I'm really looking forward to the creative freedom that Morrison's going to have on this title. The little teaser splash pages at the end, very promising. We get Germ Green Lanterns, and it looks like we're going to have some Mogo action. So I think there's going to be some good stuff out of this title. So very much looking forward to that. Next up, got me some X-Men Red number 10. I thought this was going to be the last issue, but it looks like they're going to have an issue 11. So kind of a cool ending to this one. Well, I guess kind of spoilers, but no one seems to really care about X-Men Red anyway. So I guess I'll just keep talking about X-Men Red. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled, I guess just tune out till I put the book down. But nonetheless, cool ending where, Jean Grey is trying to figure out, like, how am I going to fight Cassandra Nova? She's one of the most, she's an Xavier level telepath because she's her twin sister. So how are you going to fight that? So basically, I think it's Honey Badger's like, how would you fight Eugene? Like, seriously. And she kind of like rubs her chin and she's like, oh, I know the exact answer. So she calls Tony Stark and he makes a bunch of like Magneto helmets. So the Avengers and the X-Men can wear Magneto helmets fighting Cassandra Nova. So I'm really looking forward to issue 11. if they're going that crazy and ridiculous with the ending of this. It is actually pretty awesome. And I do think this is probably Jenny Frizen's best cover on the title. I haven't been a fan of her previous ones. Like, there's a weird Nightcrawler one for issue 9, but I think the Jean one's absolutely the best one she's done. So great cover there. Next up, got Blackbird issue 2. Sam Humphries and Jim Bartell on this title. I'll be honest, this issue didn't do as much for me as issue 1. But nonetheless, the art in this is still absolutely stunning. Jim Bartell continues to be one of the most underrated artists, in my opinion, in the whole community. Not too many people talk about Jim Bartell, but as you can see by my little Overwatch print in this book, I'm a pretty big fan of hers, just because I found out about her pretty much this year. And I'm really glad she's on an Image title, because so far on the interior, she's been killing it. So I'll continue to pick this up just for the interiors, because it's a beautiful book. But the story, I'll be honest, it lost me a little bit here, but hopefully issue 3 will pick right back up. Next up, Chuckload of Comics wanted me to read this and recommend it to him, so I kind of did last week. Marvel Knights #1. Donnie Cates written Marvel Knights. Travel Foreman on the art as well. He did some Animal Man work on the New 52, so I definitely couldn't pass up that creative team on this. I've been on the outs a little bit with the Marvel stuff recently, so I'm not exactly sure where this title fits in with canon, if it's its own thing with the Marvel Knights label, or if it's in continuity with the current Marvel stuff. Like I said, there's so many different things being shuffled around the Marvel continuity lately, and DC for that matter too. But nonetheless, the story is kind of interesting. Seems like all the superheroes you kind of see on the cover have forgotten who they are and their memories and that stuff. And for whatever reason, it starts off with Punisher, Frank Castle, looking for Daredevil and trying to remind him of who he is. But even though they're slowly remembering who they are, they don't really remember each other. So it's really kind of weird. I do really like the villain reveal at the end of this. I won't spoil that, because I know there are a lot of people, they like the issue 1s and that stuff. But he's one of my favorite villains. So I might end up getting issue 2, seeing where they're going with that book. So far, that's a recommend. And then the 2 I haven't had a chance to read. I guess technically 3 I haven't had a chance to read, because one of them I just picked up on the way home. Leviathan issue 3 I'll be reading either tonight or tomorrow morning. The first 2 issues are pretty solid. I really like Nick Pitara's art in this one so far, and who doesn't love some John Layman, so I know I'm going to enjoy that. And then the first issue, this is really good, so I'm expecting the second issue to be really good. Dead Rabbit issue 2 from Jerry Duggan. So high hopes for that one as well. And then I picked up on the way home World's Greatest Superheroes Holiday Special. I actually went to a Walmart. I usually wait till it's super late at night, so there's no one in there and you have to fight in the line. So luckily they still had a half a case of these left, because I know on the seasonal ones they get them by like the whole case. So definitely figured I'd get the holiday one, because why not? Got the Halloween one, figured I'd get the Christmas one. Just kind of glad they didn't do a Thanksgiving one, though, and make me broke, because they're $5 a piece. So that is my week's pickups. I'll be reading a couple of those either tonight or tomorrow, like I said. But before I get into my next little haul, let's see who we got in the chat. We got Jason Smith, so got to type Jason in the chat. What is going on? I don't know why that's kind of tradition at the end of this point, but there you go. We got Bake the Snake. He says, "Hey, gang, what's up? Glad you can make it, Bake the Snake. Always glad to see you." We got Brett Hess Art. He says, "Yeah, great villain reveal at the end of Marvel Knights," so it looks like he's read it as well. So good to have you in the chat, Brett Hess. And we've just got the uncanny Kyle Walker. What is going on, Kyle? Glad you can make it, man. I'm surprised I was actually able to rile up 8 people to watch me right now. So before I get into my, feature segment, I did get an in-stock trades shipment this last week. So it's been a little while since I ordered any trades or hardcovers, but there was one I wanted that was 50% off, and they had a couple deals on there. So a couple other things I'll be reading. Because right now, I don't know if you've watched Comic Core or the Great Legends show, we're actually kind of co-reading a book, and we're going to review it probably on the Comic Core channel once we're both done reading it. So right now, we're reading an omnibus of Animal Man from the Grant Morrison run. So that's about 26, 27 issues of comic, if I remember right. Because I know in my omnibus, I think it's the regular 26 issues of the original DC/Vertigo run. And then there's a couple extras in there. Like, I think I had to read like Secret Origins 37 or something like that. Origin of Animal Man. So I don't know how many more bumps in the road there are in the run like that. But definitely be reading that and hopefully getting a review out pretty soon of that. But like I said, slowly wanting to get back into trades just because I love the format. So got Witches Volume 1. This was 99 cents on In Stock Trades. I think it's still available for 99 cents if anyone needs to read Witches. I already have all 5 of these, but I kind of felt like reading it again. I'm like, well, why not for 99 cents? Maybe it'll be a giveaway later at some point, but figured, hey, why not? You can't pass up a trade for 90% off. Next up, I had a buddy when I went to Chicago recommend this one to me. I have no idea what type of story it is, but I know with this creative team, it's going to be a good one. So we have My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies. It is an Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. It's like their first main contained graphic novel. So I'm really looking forward to seeing like one big story, and it's actually not too big, but usually they do like individual issues and it gets collected. This one they just did like a hardcover special for. So looking forward to seeing what this is all about, because I had a buddy who's like, if you like Brubaker at all, you need to get this, and it was 42% off on In Stock Trade. So I figured why not get that in the shipment. And then the main reason I wanted to put together a package on In Stock is I've been wanting to get this read for a minute. It was a 2-part series, and it was kind of expensive for the books. But I was just searching for it on Amazon because I wanted to get both copies. But then I found out this thing was going to get released. So this is Batman Dark Prince Charming. And this is actually both editions collected together as like one bigger special edition. So it's kind of like they did like the Dark Knight Returns animated movie. They released them separately. Then they came out with a better version later to try to get suckers to buy both. I just decided to wait and get this one. So like I said, I hadn't had a chance to read it too much yet. But I've heard really, really good things about this one. I kind of took a peek at the art inside. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'll definitely be giving this a read at some point as well. So absolutely excited to finally get that. All right, and then that was my hardcover haul for this last week. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. All saying hi to each other. Brett Hess says, I'm hoping that Alien 3 is based on the original screenplay that comes out tomorrow is cool. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I was never a big Alien 3 guy. I like Alien and then Aliens. But Alien 3 is where it fell off for me, so I'm sorry. I actually kind of liked Alien Resurrection a little better than 3. Don't shoot me. All right, so I guess, the main topic in the whole community is, Stan Lee passing away at 95 years old. So I really don't know what else I can say at this point besides, rest in peace, Stan. He's one of the few people who actually changed the world. Like, I don't know if we'd be sitting here, showing comics even like Batman and that type of stuff if not for Stan Lee and, all of his, characters he came up with in the 60s and on up. I mean, it's mind-blowing to think you could, like, one person come up with that many, legendary pop culture usurping creations. So I figured, instead of me rambling on about, all this stuff, I would just show some books I like that are Marvel, because more or less at the end of the day, he had a little bit of something going on with them. So actually, I think the highlight character I was going to show my Hulk collection, which I didn't realize I had this many incredible Hulk books. It's like a whole short box. So I figured, yeah, why not? Got some time. I actually don't have to work tomorrow, so I'll show my Hulk books. But first, because I was debating Hulk or Fantastic Four, I picked Hulk because I think I had to sell a lot of my Fantastic Four stuff. But I did pick one story I wanted to highlight real quick, and I think I've highlighted on the channel before. Of course, it's not written by Stan Lee, but hey, he created the character, so in my opinion, it may as well be his golden touch on it anyway. But I just wanted to quickly highlight this read. This is Fantastic Four, I guess technically 496. This is the Unthinkable storyline from Mark Waid. So when I was kind of down and out in comics, I didn't collect really for a few years, from pretty much the end of the 90s till the very early 2000s. So I think this is probably around 2000, late 2002, early 2003. So when I got back in, this is one of the first storylines I drifted to, because I always kind of like Fantastic Four, and what I knew about them. It wasn't much, but I always kind of enjoyed the idea of the characters. And I was always a pretty big fan of Mark Waid, when I was a kid, from Flash, Terminal Velocity, and Superman and his stuff he did for Kingdom Come. So I knew when I got back into comics, I needed to look for Mark Waid's name on my comic books, so I knew the ones to look for. So this run was one of the first ones when I started collecting again. I made sure to go get the back issues and out of the 50-cent bins to dig up the whole run. So an Unthinkable, basically Dr. Doom, he's kind of just down on his luck. He's defeated, and he just can't beat Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four. He's just had it. So this prologue for Unthinkable comes along. He kind of just goes back to Latveria, and he actually meets Valeria, his childhood girlfriend, the one he's always longed for his entire life and could never really have. So we just decided to say screw it and just hang out with Valeria. I'm never going to get the name of that right, the pronunciation, but I'm going to keep rolling with it. So he just decides to, hang out with her, trying to defeat Fantastic Four and be evil. He's like, I'm going to pursue my one love. So you keep reading the book. They're hanging out together. Toward the end, Dr. Doom kills Valeria. Like, why would you do that? The whole book was kind of building up the relationship, and Dr. Doom just completely turns even more heel somehow by the end of this. So basically why he did that is he concluded that he couldn't defeat Reed Richards with science or the rest of the Fantastic Four. So he needed to sacrifice his one true love to black magic to beat the Fantastic Four. So basically, Doom in his mind know that he can use both the power of science and magic to really wreck the Fantastic Four, and that's the whole plot of Unthinkable. So absolutely, probably my favorite Mark Waid written story too. So there's part one, and as you can see, he's already possessing children of the Fantastic Four, so that's never good. And here's part two. So definitely they're not happy about it. Part three, and you know who's going to be the most PO'd about all this is Sue Storm, or Sue Richards, because she's not going to put up with her children being possessed. So an absolutely crazy one there. And then the last one, which I do have most of these signed by Mark Waid. This is actually the first one I bought, so I went back and got the other four later. So I saw this sitting on stands. Fantastic Four 500. So it's like the final showdown between, a Magic and Butte Doom versus the Fantastic Four, which by this issue, I'm pretty sure like Reed's locked in a magic mansion where he has to use like magic instead of science to escape. I'm pretty sure Franklin's been condemned to hell, and the rest are they're all wrecked. So just how I think it even takes Doctor Strange to take Doom down at this point, but Doom, he definitely leaves his mark on Reed by the end of this. Let's just say that. So this is my absolute favorite Fantastic Four read. I know a lot of people go toward the older stuff, but for me, not only is this a great read, it's kind of nostalgic for me just because it's one of the many, many reads around 2003. It got me back into comics. So absolutely love this run. Highly recommend it. If you guys see it in the 50-cent bins, just go ahead and pick it up. You won't regret it. All right. So like I said, I'm going to do some rapid fire on some Hulk books because I got so many. I'm just going to go through them. So I might have some notes on the ones I've read toward the later ones and when I got them off the shelf. So I'm just going to get this one out of the way, though, because why not? Don't even want to build up to it or anything. Hulk 181. You guys already know the story behind this. First Wolverine, so there you go. We'll get that book out of the way so I can nestle it up here in a safe little box instead of having it in this big stack here. So there we go. But first, before I show everything else, I do want to get back to the chat one more time because we've got Count Von Strange joining the chat. What is going on, Count Von Strange? Glad you can make it, man. Brett Hess says, yeah, Alien 3 is pretty bad. That's why I'm hoping this comic version, which is based on the original screenplay, that they didn't use, is much better. Yeah, I don't see how it could be worse than the actual movie version because, man, I just remember when I bought that box set way back when. I'd never seen any of them but the first one, so the first one was really good. The second one was arguably, well, I don't know if it was better. It's better in some ways, but not in other ways. So I'm like, man, 3's got to be really good too, and then it's horrible. I think I fell asleep the first time I watched it and the second time, so it took me like I had to have a cup of coffee to make it through for the third time, and it wasn't worth it. I may as well try to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey again with the amount of caffeine I had to take to get through that movie. All right, so without further ado, first one, I think this is the oldest Hulk book I've got. Incredible Hulk 104 featuring the Rhino. It's pretty cool there. Next up, we've got 108, a nice cherry red cover right there. Looks like Nick Fury's having a bad day. I think that's who that is. Correct me if I'm wrong. 116. I don't know why I didn't put this in a Mylar back. I'll fix that. We've got going into the 15 centers, Incredible Hulk 123. And then we've got Incredible Hulk 130, which I think this is one of the first older comics I ever owned. I think I just got a collection as a kid. My parents bought me at a yard sale, and this one was in it, which actually I can tell the bag definitely needs changed in that one. Whew. Yeah, that one's been there for a minute. Next up, we've got Incredible Hulk 193. 324, which I believe, yep, that's the Return of the Gray Hulk. So we're kind of getting into the more, I think eventually the Peter David stuff's coming up next. And the Todd McFarlane, so there's issue 330. Yep, I definitely Mylar'd this one. So, yeah, this is some nice early work from McFarlane, I believe. Here's a funny book, which I think I've told this story before, and it's so soul-crushing to me. But nonetheless, I got a phenomenal deal on this Hulk 340. I already got signed by Peter David. Definitely one of my all-time favorite covers. I remember reading Wizard as a kid, and they'd always have like the top 10 covers of all time or whatever. This will always be near the top, and I'm like, man, it'd be so cool to eventually own that. But just a quick story on this book. It's like when I started, collecting like the way I do now since I joined the community. This is like one of the first eBay lots I ever like threw in just a lowball offer and actually won. So I think I got this for about $3. The only thing that was wrong with it, there was like a small piece of dirt or booger or something there. So I had the bright idea. It's probably still, yep, there it is. I was going to take one of these pads because I heard about people cleaning their books all the time and just gently nestle the little mark off because it was just bothering me. It was like right there. And as you guys can see, there's like that little rub off now. Yeah, that was all me. That was my bad. So I don't clean my books with that anymore. I don't know why that's still there. It needs to be pitched, but nonetheless, I took a nice quality book, and now it's got that little white fade on it because I tried to do something stupid. So I was kind of hoping Peter David could sign a little bit lower to cover that up, but yeah, that didn't happen. So nonetheless, still a phenomenal cover, though. Glad to have it in the collection. Got it for cheap, at least. So got some more McFarlane coming up. 345, another one of my favorite covers. Absolutely like McFarlane's work. So there's that. And then next up, we've got some Walt Simonson on 367. We got 368. I think that's some Sam Keith, if I remember right. Does love some Sam Keith. It's nice. We've got 375. I think we're slowly getting into the Dale Keown run. Yep, 377. Unfortunately, I don't have like that like off yellowish third print. I think it's the third print that's like people love to look for because it's really rare and it's kind of a ghost book. But nonetheless, I'll be happy with my first print. We've got 382, still from the Peter David run. 383. I think this is where we actually get a little bit of a run. Yeah, I got all these for like a couple bucks a piece on eBay, and just so I can get that 340. 385. Newsstand. Sorry, work's been exhausting me. I don't know if I have a good newsstand in me tonight. So sorry, that was really weak and lame. There's 386. We're gonna keep going. 387. Kyle Walker says he loves these Hulks, man. That's awesome. We've got 388, more Keown. Love these covers he did too. We've got 390. Oh, yep. Hulk and guns. That's always a great combination. Chad is asking if I like the new Hulk run. I really enjoyed the first issue. I think I'm going to try to get that in a trade or a hardcover when it comes out, though, because some of the Marvel pricing, it's just been killing me. Like the whole $5 first issue and the $4 after that, which is, I guess, a standard. But I kind of missed out on like issue 2, so I kind of sat it out after that. But I think once they come up with a good quality hardcover, or I might just read on Unlimited. But I definitely do plan on reading Immortal Hulk because I've heard nothing but good things from the community. There's 396, so that is on my list. 397, 398. Then here's some 90s-ified action, which I don't know why that wasn't earlier in, but you guys might be asking where the 393 was at. So there's 393 with the nice, awesome foil type cover there. So definitely another one of the first books I had as a kid, because these things, they probably printed tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of them. So got that signed right there by Peter David. And yeah, this next one signed too. So there's issue 400, also signed by Peter David. So once again, foil 90s-ified, absolutely love it. Newsstand. I don't know why that's in there. Oh, yeah, that's right. So I got a Hulk 447 signed by Mike Deodato. You guys, no, that was in a hangout. I might just show the sketchbook after this, because why not? There's a bonus book that was in there. I got signed by Mike Deodato, so it kind of just stayed in the same bag. Collector number 1. I think this is some sort of Dynamic Forces variant. Don't know if anyone, or what were they called? Like American Entertainment back in the 90s. Don't know if anyone remembers them as that company. Whew, gotta move the stack here. Cool. All right, let's see what the next book is. This is actually after they did the renumbering, Hulk 34, when Romita Jr. was on the title in the 2000s. This book actually went for a little bit for a while for whatever reason. I think it was just the beginning of the Romita Jr. run. It was pretty popular back in the day. I think I grabbed this out of a 50-cent bin, if I remember right. But I always did like this swipe cover they did. So thought that was really awesome. Then we got more of that run, 35. Enough said. Enough said. So we've got actually Red Hulk, number 1. This is, I believe, yeah, Del Keown variant. Once again, Dynamic Forces. Got signed by Ed McGuinness, the center there, and then Jeff Loeb on the side. So, absolutely awesome cover from Keown. People love them. Some Red Hulk. I think that might be my only Red. I think I sold the rest of my Red Hulks. Then I got a couple of these. I got an Indestructible Hulk number 10. I think the reason I got this is it fit in with the Mark Waid Daredevil run. So if you guys get the hardcovers, I think this is actually part of the Daredevil hardcovers too. So, and then had to have some Scar, Son of Hulk number 1 from Greg Pak. So fallout from World War Hulk. So a little disorganized in collection. Really disorganized. Come on, past me. Dang it. All right, here we go. So next up, I've got Planet Hulk 92. So I think this is the first printing. Got that signed by the artist Pagulian. I don't know how that's pronounced, sorry. And then I got the second printing, which I guess they counted as a variant for whatever reason. Got this signed by the same artist, and then Greg Pak signed this one as well. So I actually grabbed these each out of the 50-cent bin. So I thought that was really cool to have the Planet Hulk books for cheap. Also got them signed both 93 and then 94. So always thought this is a really solid run of Hulk too, if you guys hadn't checked it out. 95, signed by the artist right there. And then last one I've gotten that run so far is 96. Also have, this is like the World War Hulk Prelude issue, Hulk 106. And then another prologue to World War Hulk, which wasn't in the main title. So World War Hulk prologue number 1. Don't know why they needed kind of 2 books to do the same thing, but there you go. What we got next up? We've got a Hulk 600. This one's signed by Jeff Loeb. So there's a signature there. And this is the Tim Sale variant too. I think they had a bunch of different covers to the 600, and this thing is a beast. So I can't remember the cover on the, no, only a $5 cover. Nowadays it'd be probably 10. So always like that Tim Sale cover. Just, he actually drew Hulk like a monster, so that's why I liked it. So there we go. What we got next? Oh, here we go. I just got these not too long ago at Half Price Books. So I got Future Imperfect. So I actually got 1 and 2 for $1 a piece. This story was really good. I was very happy with it. Not only do I get some, George Perez art, one of my all-time favorite artists, you get a really good. I'm pretty sure Peter David wrote these. So Hulk gets dragged to an alternate future and has to stop, a tyrant who turns out to be himself, more or less. So Hulk has found a way to conquer every hero and become this evil villain. So very good read these two are. So if you guys can find them in a dollar bin, I highly, highly recommend them. So that was a very fun read. What we got next here? Of course, we had to get World War Hulk, issue 1. So this is the A cover. Got David Finch put his really tiny signature on it, and once again, Greg Pak in the corner. So Mita Jr. actually did the art on the inside. Here's issue 2. Yep. Where did Finch sign this book at? He signed it right there. Thank you, Finch. Appreciate that. It's like the tiniest signature you wouldn't even see otherwise. So there we go. Issue 3, once again, where did Finch sign? This one shows up a little better. So there's Greg Pak's signature right there. Issue 4, probably my favorite cover of the whole bunch. So he's pretty PO'd at the Illuminati because they launched him into space, and now he's back, and he's pretty pissed off. And then the last one, there's issue 5, which has some Sentry versus Hulk action. So pretty solid read. But compared to, I think it was around Civil War and House of M time. I think it was, I like Hulk, but World War Hulk was probably like the cheapest of the 3 in terms of like actual story achievement and that stuff. I think Civil War is a little overrated, but out of those 3, I would probably prefer House of M out of those 3. Next up, we've got Incredible Hulk, Jason Aaron and Mark Silvestri. Pretty solid creative team. Actually got this one signed by Jason Aaron. So not too bad of a read there. I think I didn't have issue 2. All right. We have stupid full motion lenticular cover. I think it's, Hulk 709. So you have to tilt it just right to even see the numbers. So I forgot how badly Marvel botched these lenticular covers. So there's that. We've got Incredible Hulk 712, pretty sweet Addy Granov variant. So really awesome cover. Like me some Addy Granov. Got 714. So I think I bought this one. Yeah, it's kind of like they tried to do a sequel to World War Hulk. So don't know why, but they did. And then the talk of the chat, we've got Immortal Hulk #1. I definitely plan on reading some collected edition of this down the line. From what I hear, it seems like each issue is kind of its own story, so that definitely has piqued my interest in wanting to read that. So I'm curious to see exactly where they're going with, Banner at that point. So I definitely look forward to reading the rest of that series. We have got Hulk Gray. There's issue 2. Here's issue 1, signed by Tim Sale. So during I think it was late 90s, early 2000s, they were like, Loeb and Sale were doing like Marvel character associated with the color. So I was like Spider-Man blue and Captain America red or something like that, maybe. But I think Hulk Gray is probably my favorite. Just because, I mean, Tim Sale, it seems like people either like him or hate him. If you absolutely like Tim Sale, check this out. Some phenomenal stuff from him in here. So there's issue 1, issue number 2, 3. I think every one of these is signed by Sale. So issue 4. Then, actually, I'm sorry, it's a 6-issue series. My bad. Issue 5. And then issue 6, he signed right on his eyeball. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So yeah, and actually it does say 2003, so I was right. So pretty good series. I'll save that one for last. I think I got this in someone's giveaway. Unfortunately, I can't remember who right now. But it's like my first and only like international comic. So it's like a Spanish version of the Incredible Hulk. So I thought that was pretty neat. It's not even like the same size as our comics. So someone actually gave this to me in a contest. So I thought that was awesome. But before I describe my last one, I do want to get back to the chat one more time because I want to talk about this one for a minute. We have got Who Dat Comics and Movies. He says, late night C. Woodard. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, I had to work all day, so definitely wanted to get something out this week. So I decided just to flip on that live button, show something, show some Marvel books. And we've got The Gray Man. How's it going, Gray Man? It must be pretty late for you, man. Everybody else talking about how much they like Immortal Hulk. See, yeah, you guys are definitely talking me into getting this. But the last book I wanted to talk about, my Hulk pile. I think this hands down my favorite Hulk read. This is Hulk: The End, written by Peter David, drawn by Dale Keown. Absolutely awesome read. If you guys can find this, I'd grab it. I don't know how much it goes for anymore. Maybe if you can find it at cheap bin. If you guys see it at cheap bin, definitely pick it up. Otherwise, the only other collected version of this I can remember, I think this one came with the Future Imperfect stuff. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic Hulk story. So, but this is probably by far my favorite. It starts off like the world, it's already ended. It's just the world's a dust ball at this point. The heroes, they're all gone. Pretty much the only thing left on Earth are just like giant bugs. And for some reason, that's why I think it's kind of funny they're still doing the Immortal Hulk stuff now. Is like the only person left on Earth in this story is Bruce Banner. And he's he kind of starting to look like Yoda a little bit. He's like short, he's hunched over, he's got this really long gray beard, he's bald, but he's still got like hair blooming out the hair, it's all white. Um, but the only thing keeping him alive is the Hulk. So every time he goes through radiation, he kind of just dies, but the Hulk comes back all pissed off. And then when he wakes up, he's Bruce Banner again. He's mad he's alive. And then he gets eaten by giant bugs and termites. Banner dies. Hulk comes out, goes to sleep. Here comes Banner. Wash, rinse, repeat. Meanwhile, like Banner, he's been driven completely insane by this point. He's having hallucinations. And you don't really know if some of his hallucinations are like how the heroes died or if he's just lost his mind. So it's just a very cerebral read. It goes into detail on what goes on in the mind of Hulk and Bruce Banner. The end of this book, it's just kind of chilling. It's like Hulk and Banner finally have like this mutual like separation somehow, where like Hulk he gets turned into Hulk, but then he lets Banner go. And I'm sorry I'm spoiling all this, but I do kind of just want to get my point across on this book. So I guess if you don't want to hear any more spoilers, sorry. But basically, it just kind of ends with Hulk sitting by himself, and he's lonely. The Hulk is actually lonely without Bruce Banner there in his head, and it probably would have been vice versa. So it's just kind of a little sad, chilling ending. But I never dreamt that someone would make a Hulk story like this. Usually, most Hulk stories are, hey, he turns into Hulk, fights the bad guys, destroys stuff. But this, I mean, it really goes into deep. He has nothing left to destroy but himself. So this is a very good read. I cannot recommend this enough. Also came out in 2003. Kind of like when I was talking about this, I pretty much these are two of the first books I bought off the rack when I started collecting again in 03. So absolutely recommend both of these. But yeah, this is definitely one of my all-time favorite reads is Hulk: The End. So if you guys can track this down in a hardcover, like this first print copy, I highly recommend it. I never hear anyone talking about this or selling it off or anything. So if you guys see it, trust me, it's a great read. Can't recommend that one enough. One of the main reasons I actually wanted to show and talk about Hulk. But once again, I guess to wrap things up, RIP Stan. Figure if nothing else, show some Marvel comics. So if you guys have a channel out there, nothing else, you don't know what to say or anything, just show some books. I always like looking at books. That's why we have a community for this. So just one more time to go over the chat before we sign off, because hey, it's almost Wednesday and this is called Tuesday Night Livestream. So we're going to log off before we go into that new comic book day that everybody loves to post on. So we've got Brett Hess. He says, never read The End. Sounds cool, though. Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially if you guys like the Immortal Hulk. If you guys can find Hulk: The End, maybe if nothing else, will be featured on the Marvel Unlimited stuff. If you guys are into that. Who Dat said, cool cover on The End. Gray Man says, Pitt looked badass. Yeah, I guess. Oh, yeah, he was talking about, how Del Keown can draw. Absolutely. Who Dat says he picked up the first appearance of Immortal Hulk. Gray Man confirmed my thoughts. Yeah, it's 4:52 over. I guess it'd be 4:56 now. So, good morning, Gray Man. Hopefully everything's going well for you. Hopefully you're sipping on your coffee, getting ready to start your day, or maybe you're just finishing your day. I'm not sure. But yeah, just thank you guys so much for coming in at this abrupt hour. But once again, thanks. Hopefully I'll actually see you guys on the Comic Core this week. Unfortunately, once again, work stepped in the way and I was not able to, be on the show. Big thanks to Drew Manchu for stepping up to the plate and hosting when no one else wanted to. So Drew did a phenomenal job. So I finally got a chance to watch the show on the rewind. Shout out other channels as well because I didn't get a chance to pick my YouTuber of the week because honestly I haven't had a chance to even watch too many videos. Bueller and Great Religion had a fun, awesome chat on Bueller's channel about variants. I recommend everyone going over there and watching that if you guys haven't already. So those are pretty much the only two videos I had a chance to watch this week. Oh, I didn't chat. Roman Curtis is in the chat. The big dog, Roman Curtis. What is going on, Roman? Glad you can make it, man. I just saw your name for the first time. I'm sorry. So that being said, I remember doing the gimmick this week. The tape machines are rolling, but we are running out of time. We've got Sting, he's dropping from the rafters. Hollywood Hogan's coming out with a baseball bat. We've got Bret Hart says have a